What's up, guys? Welcome to another episode of the TMossBoss Show. And in today's episode, man, I'm telling you, all this stuff that's going on in the world surrounding Black lives, it's always crazy because, you don't really expect to go outside and then you think, like, dang, today is going to be my last day on earth. Like, it's a scary feeling, and I don't think people understand that. I don't think, because every time when somebody argues with me about this stuff, I'm like, you don't understand. Like, when I go outside, it's a risk. My thing is like, it's a risk that I'm willing to take, but at the same time, it is still a risk. Like, I don't know what's going to happen. I've seen so many videos. I just seen the video earlier of this kid. He was just walking home, and this random guy came up to him and was just like, "You don't belong here. This is my neighborhood," and all this other dumb stuff. And I'm like, fam, like, it's stuff like that where it's like, why is this happening? Like, what is going on in the world to where all this stuff is just happening right now? And I'm like, man, you would think, like, after all this time, like, stuff like this would just end, stuff like this would just stop. Like, people wouldn't be this open about it. When you have somebody like Donald Trump in office, and then he just, like, pretty much, like, lights the flame to all of this crap, like, yeah, you're going to see Asian people getting attacked. You're going to see black people getting ambushed, either by cops or by a group of white people. And that's what, in that video where the kid was, like, walking home, it was like, I don't know, it might have been a teenager, might have been somebody that was in their 20s, I don't really know. But anyways, it was a young black person that was going home, minding their own business, and then all of a sudden it was a group of white people surrounding him, telling him, "You don't belong here, I'm calling the cops, I'm doing," all because he's walking. Like, really, I'm like, my thing is, like, if you see him going to a house, and then if he's running out the place with stuff, like, okay, he's stealing, he's doing something that he should be doing. But it's like, if he's just walking and minding his own business, going for a walk, like, I do that all the time. I always go for walks. I always just, be outside, just relaxing and things. I'm like, dang, we can't even go outside now? Like, we have to. The thing is, though, it's like, we can't even be in our own house because look at the situation with Breonna Taylor. So it's like, really, at the end of the day, it's like, we gotta, like, find our own planet to be on. I feel like even then, like, they still would come to our planet and be like, "You don't belong here. You gotta do this. You got," like, it's crazy because I'm like, what's going through the mind of cops when they see a black person? That's honestly, like, that would be my hard hitting question to all of the cops. This cop that killed George Floyd, this cop that killed is it Deontay or Dante? I don't know how to, but overall, this 20-year-old that was just shot, and the woman was talking about, oh, she thought it was her taser or something. I'm like, fam, it's two different handles, it's two different, like, weapons. You can't confuse one for the other. I don't understand that, and things like, you should be able to feel, like, overall the difference between the both of them. But it's like, if you don't, then you shouldn't, like, nobody shouldn't be bringing up the fact that she's been in the force for 29 or however many years. It's like, well, obviously she just started training for her job today. Like, yeah, she might have been at her job for 20 some years, but obviously she hasn't been fully trained and stuff, so for her job. So yeah, I'm like, that to me, I'm like, hearing that, I'm like, well, yeah, I'm like, look how that turned out. Look what 29 years of working at where she is working at, look where that got her. Now she was forced to resign because she wasn't doing her job correctly. And it's like, fam, you signed up for this, you went through all these years, or you just overall trained and you was on the force or field for all these years. It's like, what was you doing? Like, what was you doing these years and things? Like, relaxing, and then all of a sudden out of nowhere you just don't know how to work no more? Like, I don't understand that. I don't understand that at all. But that situation, it's sad because it's like, man, it's this photo of this guy with his kid that's been traveling around. It's like, this kid's gonna have to grow up without their father in their life, and they're gonna have to, explain. And the thing is, it's like, at the end of the day, we should always, like, be talking on how, like, black lives, Asian lives, like, any lives that's just being wrongfully attacked, like, how their lives matter. But the crazy thing about it is, like, this kid, he's gonna have to be one of those, like, people that has to, like, go up on a stage and talk on how they lost their father at a young age, or it's like in some other cases how a person lost their mom at a young age. It's like, it's sad, like, that these things happen. And you would think like, something would have been done, something should have changed, like, and it takes like, this long for our voices to be heard. It takes this long for still like nothing to change. But it's like, are we might and that's like, that's another question. It's like, are we getting close to change, or are we still like super far away from change? Because at the end of the day, I don't know where we're at when it comes to all of this stuff. I just want to be able to go outside and things, and without having to like look over my shoulders. I hear a car or I see something. I'm, like, am I gonna have to go the other way? Am I gonna have to like try to fight through it? Like, what am I, gonna do and stuff? And I'm not saying that like every cop that I come across, like, I'm scared or something. Like, I always just, I just act normal. I'm like, and I really don't, at the end of the day, I don't know how to like fully act normal, but I'm like, I don't be causing no attention to myself. I don't be doing no wild or crazy things. I'm not saying that any of these guys were, but because I'm like, any of these guys, George Floyd, this Dante or Deontay Wright person, Breonna Taylor, Trayvon Martin, none of these guys was causing attention to themselves. So it's like, at the end of the day, it's like I said earlier, it is a risk being black and going outside. I ain't trying to hear anything else different. So it's like, all right, because it was maybe yesterday, or no, not yesterday, 2 days ago. I was going out and getting me some Red Bulls. I seen the cop drive past me. We both nodded our heads at each other, and I'm like, I'm happy I had that interaction with that cop. I'm blessed. Like, I'm thankful to have that interaction with that cop, because I'm like, that situation could have been much more worse. Now it's my family and friends sharing my photos talking about Black Lives Matter, rest in peace, Tyler, and all this other. Like, it's sad to think that type of stuff. It's sad to even say that stuff out loud, and, God rebuke all, situations like that from me and things. But man, it's crazy, because it's like, people shouldn't have to, my friends shouldn't have to look at me and protect me with their lives. Like, I don't ever want it to be a situation where I'm out hanging out with my friends, and now it's like I'm getting caught up in a situation and they feel like they gotta put their life on the line to protect me and stuff. And it's like, no, these cops or these racist people, whatever you want to call them, they just need to know. It's like, we're out here minding our own business. If we out here doing something illegal, okay, call us out on it. But if I'm literally just walking and chilling with my friends, if I'm just out living life, if I'm, just doing whatever and things, like, but it's not illegal, let me be. Just let me be. Leave me alone. It shouldn't be no, oh, well, what if I, no, it ain't no what ifs, it ain't no none of that stuff. Just let me be. Like, however you feel about black people, that's how you feel, okay? But taking that out on me, it's like, that doesn't even make any sense. Okay, if that's the case, then so many people, it's like, then we just start needing to track down all these racist people and just taking our anchor out on them. Because it's like, you guys sit down and think about it. It's like, we know that there's racist people out there. That's just one of the things that we gotta live with, right? And it's crazy how I can live with racists on this planet, but when it comes to, like overall, like when they're calling me the N word, because I've dealt with racists like face to face and on the internet. So, like having all that stuff, I laugh about it. I find that stuff funny. I'm like, this stuff's crazy. It's like people think along like these lines and stuff. It's like, you're weird, you're crazy. So I just laugh about that stuff, but I can live with it. I can live my whole life with that. I don't think I'm ever going to reach a point in time where I'm like, oh my God, like, please stop with this racism and stuff. But when it's like overall people losing their lives, I'm like, of course, yes. Every single day for the rest of my life, I'm going to be like, hey, yo, this stuff needs to stop. Like, if this conversation is ever brought up with me, I'm like, this stuff needs to stop. It's sad. It's sad that people have to see their families, be buried either at a young age or whatever. It's like, it doesn't even really matter on their age. It's just sad that it's like they have to see their family get buried because a cop just doesn't know how to do their job, or a racist person doesn't, know how to mind their own business and just let us be. This ain't your planet. This ain't, at the end of the day, this is God's planet. This ain't my planet. This ain't nobody else's planet. This is God's planet. So whatever is happening on this planet, it's happening. All right? So if black people are existing on this planet, black people are going to exist on this planet. You can't do nothing about that. That's going out to all racist people out there. You can't do nothing or say anything about it. Let it go, okay? Let it go. I know I'm not the spokesperson for everybody across the world, but I'm pretty sure everybody's thinking along those lines. Like, if you're racist, you're racist. Okay. Like, Be racist. I can care less. My thing is like I can care less if you give me dirty looks when you walk past me or drive past me. I can care less about that. Go ahead, give me all the dirty looks that you want to give me. But when you start thinking along the lines like I need to take his life because he's black, that's not cool. That's not cool at all. Now you got to answer for that stuff. Now your family is in danger. Do you want your family to be in danger? I'm not saying that there's people that are. I'm just saying overall, it's like people don't be rolling like that. They don't just be letting things like that go. There's people out there that would be like, I'm tracking this person down and I'm getting my revenge. I'm avenging my fallen brothers. I'm avenging, and that's a war that just doesn't need to happen. So I'm like, all these crazy things that's going on in the world right now, it's like it needs to stop. Like it ain't no need for any of that stuff. It just needs to come to a point in time where it's like, all right, it's over now. It's like, blood's been shed, tears been shed, all that stuff. And it's like at the end of the day, it needs to end. Like a cop, you need to stop thinking of all black people as like dangerous. We're not. We're not all dangerous. It's like if we going at you with violence, if we're going at you with like, putting your lives in danger and things, okay. Because it's like I've heard worse situations. There was a one situation where the cop or the guy, he shot and killed these cops, and I think it was in a Tully's, which is like this like coffee shop, kind of like Starbucks, but it's like it was its own place. I don't know if they're still around anymore, but anyways, I remember there was a situation where this guy went into this Tully's coffee shop, shot and killed these four cops, and then there was like a big like giant manhunt for him, and the cop had recognized him. And overall, like I think he did pull out a gun on the cop and was getting ready to shoot, and the cop shot him. Because overall, it's like so if it's some situation like that, then it's like okay, defend yourself, protect yourself. But if it's literally some like old dude just minding his own business, or it's just whoever black minding their own business, like not doing anything to you, it's like when you start punching them across the head, tackling them, putting your knee on their neck, putting them in chokeholds and doing all these other things. And I'm gonna be talking on something that's just extremely crazy on just how all this stuff just like came together. And it's like, man, it's like it's just really messed up. But it's like all of that. It's no need for that. There's no need for all of the things that's happening towards black people from cops. And I'm not saying that it's all cops, because I've met cops out there that have been dope people. They've been cool people and stuff. It's people that I'm like, uniform on, uniform off, I'm still going to be cool with them. I'm still going to treat them with respect. But it's like, if there's a cop out there that's just disrespecting me, then it's like, all right, well, you just going to get that same energy. But I seen this tweet, and that's why I'm doing this episode, because I'm like, man, it's crazy how like everything just, comes together and stuff. But the tweet starts off by saying Fred Hampton's mother used to babysit Emmett Till. Now, for those that don't know who Fred Hampton or Emmett Till is, yeah, it was Fred Hampton was a Black Panther leader, wrongfully killed, wrongfully assassinated. Like if you read the Fred Hampton story, it's just overall messed up what happened to him. And they just recently came out with this movie called Judas and the Black Messiah, which is pretty much like a biography, or not a biography, but a biopic about Fred Hampton and a person that was supposedly supposed to be his right hand man, but it turned out they were just an informant from the I believe it was either the Chicago police or the FBI, whichever. But overall, Fred Hampton ended up getting assassinated, and his house was like raided by it was either the FBI or just Chicago police, because that's where it took place at. And yeah, he was killed like right there in front of his friends, his wife. It was a messed up situation. And then Emmett Till was a kid, like he was a kid, okay, somebody that was like, I think, how old was Emmett Till when he died? He was 14 years old when he died. Emmett Till was literally a child, and overall what happened to Emmett Till, it's something that's still just, anytime when I see his name, I always just see that image of him like when he was laying in his casket. And that's just, it's one of those images that you wish you can shake and just not like think of. But it's like now I've been seeing it so many times, I'm like, hey, well, it is what it is now at this point. But Emmett Till was a kid that was wrongfully killed by some racist white people, all because they was claiming that he whistled at one of the guy's wife. So they drugged him out of his house, brutally beat that man or kid and young man, whichever. But anyways, brutally beat him to the point where he wasn't even like you couldn't even recognize him. Like the way that he was looking, I was like, man, it was one of those things. I remember when I very first seen like that image, and I thought it was like a much more older person. I didn't think it was somebody that was 14 years old. So it's like to see that, that's crazy. And I'm like, man, I just, it's stuff like that. I'm like, that is just wild. And then it turned out years later, the lady that claimed that she got whistled at by Emmett Till said that Emmett Till had never whistled at her. So it was like you got this boy killed, drugged out of his house and killed, and his mom had to like see that, like we're not overall see him get killed, but see how he looked afterwards, and it's like that's man, it's messed up. And then the tweet continues on by saying George Floyd's girlfriend was Dante Wright's teacher, and I'm pretty sure everybody knows who George Floyd is, and I'm pretty sure everybody has been paying attention to the news lately and knows who Dante Wright is. And then there's like U.S. Army Second Lieutenant Karin Nazario, I think that's his name, is Eric Gardner's cousin. So this like Lieutenant Karan, I don't know how to pronounce his name, but Nazario, he was the military dude that was pepper sprayed 4 times by the cops. I'm pretty sure everybody's seen that video. That's that guy's name. And Eric Gardner was the man that was put in an illegal chokehold from a cop. And he was I'm pretty sure everybody remembers the video of the black man saying he can't breathe. And yeah, overall it was like they didn't care. They still continued choking him until he died. And it's like, really? I'm like, it's like 6 of you cops or however many cops that was there, and it's like you can't handle one person. It's like, yeah, that's why it really trips me out, like how people be acting. But it's like, yeah, with this situation with the military guy, I was like, dude's wearing a uniform. And that's why I'm like, that's why those cops was acting the way that they were, because they was like, oh, he has a uniform, he has a gun, so it's like, oh, we gotta be acting all crazy towards him and stuff. And yeah, it's like it's overall wild what's going on in the world. But I seen that tweet and I was like, that's crazy, man. I'm like, that's seriously some crazy stuff to think that all of that stuff was tied. I did know the Fred Hampton one because they mentioned that in the movie, the Judas and the Black Messiah movie. But the other two, I was like, that's just crazy. I'm like, that's some insane stuff. So at the end of the day, Black lives, Asian lives, they matter, and they always will matter. And if you disagree with me, then unfollow me. Don't watch any videos or anything that I'm into and stuff, like, cause I'm always gonna support that. So, anyways, yeah, I will talk to you guys later. Thank you guys. I did say in the last episode, like, I was gonna talk on something about YouTube, but I had to talk on this real quick. So just saying, Black lives and Asian lives matter, because I'm like, especially this stuff that's going on with Asian people. I'm like, I don't know what's going on right now, but these attackings with Asian people need to stop. I'm like, that stuff is like so confusing to me, and I'm like, man, it scares me just, because I'm like, the way that my friends feel about me, and it's like, dang, like, that's how I feel about my Asian friends. Like, I gotta look at them and be like, dang, am I gonna have to defend them with my lives and stuff, because I'm like, man, it's messed up what's going on with them. It's just overall messed up what's going on in the world. But be safe out there, everybody, and until next time, I will talk to y'all later. Thank you guys for listening to today's episode, and peace.